All right, everybody. Today we happen to have a 2012 Cadillac Escalade with a 6.2 liter V8. And what's wrong with this one is this motor mount down here. See that heat shield right here? This motor mount's bad, so we're gonna have to get in there and get this motor mount out. These are kind of hard. It's all-wheel drive. It's got a differential above it. Here is the brand new motor mount from the dealer with the built-in heat shield. There's 4 bolts that bolted up to the engine, and then there's a stud here, and then 3 bolts here. So we're going to get in there and try to replace it. So first thing, we're going to disconnect the battery over there. We're going to pull this cover off to give it more room when we lift the engine up. And I do believe, they don't say it in the instructions, but I'm going to take the steering shaft loose. It makes it easier to get the mount in and out through this area. So I'm going to take the steering shaft off. I always make sure I have the steering wheel locked, and I'm going to mark the shaft so I know where it goes. So let me get some of these things started, and I'll come back. Alrighty, I've disconnected the battery, and I've taken the bolt out that goes through the steering shaft here, and there's another bolt that goes through the steering shaft here. So I already started tapping on it. I also put my 2 marks, one there and one there. And you can see I've already got it moving down. So I'm going to go ahead and continue tapping it down until I get it loose. All right, so now I got this loose. So this is, I can get this out of my way right now. It's going to give me a little bit more room. I still might have to go down here and disconnect the other part of the U-joint and then get this up and get it completely out of my way. But this is a starting point. I'm going to start here and see if this is going to give me enough room to get it out. I'm not sure. All right, we're underneath the car now, and there's a shield that goes here that's held on by 4 15mm bolts. I went ahead and took that out. And there is the other end of the steering shaft. It looks like it's a 12mm bolt. I'm going to get in there with my crayon and mark that, take the bolt out so I can slide that and get it completely out of the way. So I think if I'm not mistaken, you got to do everything from up top, because if you look underneath here, there's the differential. The differential's in the way. The motor mount is up in there. So the differential's in the way, and when you come over to this side here, you can't even, you can see the heat shield center of the frame. That is the motor mount there, so really you can't do a lot from here. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do everything from up top, pull that steering shaft out, give us plenty of room. They say in the instructions to pull the inner fender well out to get in there and pull the wheel. I don't know if that's going to give us any extra help here or not. We might do that also, but I'm going to try to do everything from up top. We'll just put a block of wood underneath the oil pan here and jack it up. Okay, I was wrong. It was an 11mm bolt that holds it in, and this is indexed really well. You can see how I'm not focusing. There it is. It's indexed really well. It only goes on one way. There's a cutout there for where the bolt goes in, so this goes in only one way. I took a long screwdriver and hammer and tapped it until it came off. So that's, I'm gonna let it back down, and that will be out of my way completely. Okay. The motor mount has 3 bolts, 1, 2, 3. So what I did, they're 15mm head. I got in here with my impact. I also disconnected this wire tie here so I could pull this back and get in there better. All right, so we are back underneath the car. Center of frame, that is the bottom bolt on the front of the motor mount where it bolts the engine. As you can see, there is the differential, and that is the bolt that I'm going to try to get from here, and I'm going to try to get both bottom bolts from down here. And there's the motor mount up in there. You really can't see anything, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a very long extension, and they're 15mm, and I can get that bolt out from down here. All right, we're back on the top here, I was able to get the lower bolt from below with a very long 3-foot extension right by the differential. This upper bolt, I'm using it's a 3-inch extension that's got like a locking head on it, so it makes it about 4 inches, and I got my swivel socket in there. I've already broken it free, and once you break it free, it usually just unscrews by hand, which it is. So that's how I'm getting this. This is probably how I'll get the other two on the other side. And I think I might take the cross member on this vehicle pops out by taking 4 bolts or 2 bolts out. I might take that out so I can put the jack underneath it. Let's see. Kind of slipped off, but it was coming really good. So now I got my hand up in there, and that one's out. All right, I was able to get that same extension and swivel, and I'm on the bottom bolt in the back, not the top, but the bottom. I'm gonna get that one out, and then I'm gonna go for the top. Okay, like I said, I'm back underneath the car, and this cross member, I'm gonna take out. There's 2 bolts here, 2 bolts here. This cross member will come out, and the reason why I'm doing that is because then I can put my block of wood under the oil pan with a floor jack to lift the engine up. I got the upper bolt on the back side out, but with the same extension and the 15 millimeter. So I'm gonna bust this thing out of here now, lower down, get the jack underneath, try to get the motor up enough to get the old motor mount slid out. Alrighty, now I took that bracket out, or that cross member that goes right here. So now I can get my block of wood right underneath the oil pan. Alrighty, so I got the engine jacked up now, and that was definitely what needed to be done. So as you can see, the motor mount is nice and loose, and hopefully my big fat arm isn't in the way. And there we go. As you can see, right where my thumb is, right here, the motor mount's broken. See? Broken, together, broken. So there, now the motor mount's out, and I gotta slide the new motor mount in and put all the bolts in, put the steering shaft back in, put this wire thing back on, lower the motor down. The fun part's getting all the bolts back in. The video is probably too long as it is, so I'm not gonna show you that, but there's an overview of at least how to get the motor mount out. So now all you do is reverse to get the motor back in. I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank everybody for my 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate the subscribers and all the views. So if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Please like and share.